I thought I had a beautiful segue and I completely torpedoed your story.
You're listening to the Cool Dad Shirt Podcast with Rich and Mike.
Welcome to this episode of the Cool Dad Shirt Podcast. Move over, Cousin Brucey.
I don't know what that means.
Do you know who Cousin Brucey is?
I don't think so. In like a radio setting?
Yeah. Have you not ever heard that?
I don't know that I have.
On some of those oldies stations, the DJ would always have like a ridiculous amount of reverb on their voice. It sounded like they were... I got to send you a sample of this. This
Please
is
do,
unbelievable.
Yeah. Coming to you live from How Cavern.
I opened up, I don't know if you recognize that track, The Tubes, Talk to You Later.
That's a great song. Yep. Talk to you later.
It's so good. I've been on a Steve Lukather run for the last week or so, and I did not know he played guitar on that track.
Yeah, he might have.
Maybe
what's
more.
The other one?
Maybe
Don't Fall in Love. I think he wrote. She's a Beauty. She's a Beauty. I think he wrote that one. He is an amazing studio musician. He's played 1 million songs you've heard and had no idea who that was. The guitar player from Toto.
I love watching him on Rick Beato. Again, I caught another little interview with him and it opened up the floodgates. I just started Googling and searching all the stuff that he's contributed to.
Yeah. He's played on everybody's recordings. He's done a ton of studio stuff when he was just, I think, 19, 20 years old. He was playing in the studio on a ton of stuff. And it's funny. He's most famous for the song Africa by Toto, and he despises that song. he didn't even want it on the album. And he goes, that's how life goes sometimes.
I had an idea of how great of a guitar player he was, and I had no idea of the magnitude until I started looking into it more.
Like Joe Walsh from the Eagles. He is of a similar, just the discography is startling how many records he's been on.
I also wanted to talk about another musician. I'm just queuing something up here because I want to keep my facts straight. A couple episodes, we started talking about Freedom Jam. Remember?
Yes. Yeah. And you sent me the image. Sorry, I didn't write back. That was amazing.
That one that I sent you was probably early to mid 80s, which was the Freedom Jam that I saw in high school. But later, I think it was probably 87 to 88. The band had another lead singer and his name was Terry Fator.
Not familiar.
What's amazing about Terry Fator, according to Celebrity Net Worth, he's gone on to be the 23rd richest comedian.
He went from Freedom Jam high school touring band presentation at assemblies and such to the 23rd highest grossing comedian. Is that what you said?
Yeah, and you could read the story. I won't go into the details on the show. So he was in Freedom Jam probably in his early 20s.
Wow.
And after that, he decided to start pursuing this comedy career. He struggled for quite some time, but he appeared on America's Got Talent in 2007. And that's when things started to turn around for him. And he went on to become the 23rd richest comedian. It says that he's worth $160 million.
Man, I want to go look him up because it's likely we've seen or heard of him, right? I mean, if you're in the top 25, I mean, you must have stuff out there.
I was a little obsessed with Freedom Jam after we started talking about it. I think you made a joke. You said the bass player. I think he's working at Starbucks now. And I was curious to see what happened and where their career went. All of a sudden, I stumbled upon Terry Fator. And I mean, it's a huge list. You can imagine who's on the list, right? Jerry Seinfeld, Matt Stone, Jay Leno, Kevin Hart, Adam Sandler, Dave Letterman.
Yeah. Names we all know and love. Yeah, for sure.
Larry David, Seth MacFarlane, Conan, Ray Romano, Steve Harvey, Drew Carey. And then all of a sudden, Terry Fator pops right up in there. What's even more amazing is the stars that he's worth more. Bill Maher, Steve Martin, Dennis Miller.
Oh, man.
Kevin
he's coming in higher than
James.
those guys.
Yeah. And I don't know how accurate the stuff is, but that's what makes it even more amazing. You know, Melissa McCarthy, John Oliver. Yeah, it's amazing, like how much more he's worth. Tina Fey.
Maybe
So
he's
good
got
for
some
him.
writing credit or something that he's getting some income that isn't so obviously on camera, you know?
Maybe.
It's funny.
Good for him.
Yeah, everybody's path to fame is interesting. And one of the things I do like is you ever follow somebody on Instagram and then they end up super famous? Have you ever I got like a
Yes.
handful of people
Yeah.
that I just. One of them was I watched this young woman. It caught my eye because Instagram gives me a ton of music stuff. It caught my eye because she was doing a slap bass version of Just the Two of Us. You know, the old Bill Withers song.
Yeah.
I think Grover Cleveland, I think, was the saxophonist. Anyway, it's from the 80s. But she was just doing a rendition of that, playing it. And that might have been her tipping point. I'm not sure, but she started getting all these likes and stuff like that. So she started promoting her band called Blue to Tiger, Blude Tiger. And you just started watching it blow up. And she's gotten those world tours. She's releasing an album, and she just filmed a few weeks ago. She now has Fender. She has a signature jazz bass, a Fender jazz bass. And they filmed her going back to, I think it's on Long Island, actually. She was going into the Guitar Center where she bought her first bass as a little girl to go in and see her now signature bass hanging on the wall. It was just such a delightful story to watch her go in there and pick up. She just holds it up. It's like, this is my bass.
Here it is on
It was such an
display.
amazing story.
Was it in a glass case like the one that Wayne and Garth looked at?
It wasn't quite, she's not quite that famous, but it was a touching moment to see her come from little girl buying first instrument to having a signature line by Fender guitar.
That's a great story. Good for her.
Yeah.
I'll have to look her up, see if I recognize the Guitar Center.
I can go look that up. Yeah, I'll let you know.
I got to know now. Do you think right now someone is following us and one day we'll be famous, Rich?
Yes. I am certain. Well, we know people are following us. The question is, will they be as excited when we make it big?
I can only hope.
Hope, yes.
They'll go to the Podcasting Hall of Fame and see our photos on the wall.
They will be shocked to find out we're the 23rd highest grossing show that they've never heard of.
What? That show is so lame.
23rd, seriously.
I'm shocked.
That would be hysterical. Oh, I got a follow-up.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, so we talked about do old movies still hold up? I actually went and watched Close Encounters of the Third Kind, the movie from 1977. It does hold up. Steven Spielberg does know how to make a movie. He's very, very good at it. And it's interesting though the way movies were made. It was a slower pace. I mean, it's not the constant cuts and high action of the way movies are made nowadays. But it was an interesting story. It was compelling, and it was. I enjoyed it again.
No car chases in that one, right?
No car. No, I don't think they're car chases.
I think so. There were probably some fast-moving vehicles through the woods or something like that, right? If I recall correctly.
Well, there's UFOs and stuff zipping around. There was that kind of action, and then the big reveal at the end when the aliens step off the. Oh, I hope I'm not ruining this for anybody.
For those who haven't seen it yet,
spoiler alert. There's aliens at the end.
I love when you come to mind in my everyday life, Rich. So at work, we have these little kitchenettes, and there's a vending machine in there, a little sink and a refrigerator for everybody to store their lunches. I walked in there the other day just to rinse something out, and to the left was the vending machine. And on the top row of this vending machine, there was a giant Otis Spunkmeyer cookie. They had the calories listed on the outside, and this is the part where I thought of you. One giant Otis Spunkmeyer cookie was 530 calories. And I don't know why. I don't know why you come to mind when outrageous food is always in the forefront.
Well, I mean, I'm a little outspoken about trying to be healthier and going down that rabbit hole. So, yeah, well, similarly, I had a conversation. I happened to be in our little cafe area, and the guy was in there filling up vending machine stuff. And I inquired about maybe just getting some seltzer in the vending machine. And he's like, oh, we got like monster drinks. It's not all soda. We have like monster drinks. I'm like, no, I don't want like all the other stuff in it. He goes, oh, here's this other one. I can't remember the name. And it was just all these like very chemically over flavored super things. I'm like, I just want bubbly water. Just that's all I want. And it blew the guy's mind. He's like, no. You ever tried this? This is really good. I'm like, nah, you're missing what I'm.
We do not carry Hal's Seltzer.
Just a little bubbly water, man. That's all I want for my afternoon drink.
I did have greater success than you in the early 90s. When I worked at KeyBank, my friend and I petitioned the vendor to put Hawaiian Punch Fruit Juicy Red in the soda machine. And in fact, he did. He was quite pleased on his Fruit Juicy Red sales.
Yeah. Oh, so you helped him really expand the profit margin, huh?
Oh, yeah, there was a bunch of us that used to drink it. So we
Nice.
asked if he could put it in the machine, and he did. It's funny, you look back and think of all the Hawaiian Punch and Mountain Dew that you drank. It's so delicious, but
Well, it's like anything else. It is so delicious, but once you kind of stop doing it, you can't go back. It's ridiculous how terrible it really is.
yeah, knowing what I know now about it,
Yeah.
I'd be better suited to drink antifreeze, probably. It's the same color.
That red dye, I think, is illegal in Europe.
I did want to ask you if you thought Kurt Cobain was still alive. You ever wonder about some of that stuff?
I didn't think so till you brought it up, but now I'm up for a conspiracy theory. What do you got?
And it's not even a conspiracy theory or any footage, but I do wonder about that stuff, about the Jim Morrisons, the Elvis Presleys, Kurt Cobains, and even the Michael Jacksons.
The circumstances surrounding their death are interesting, and they would be far more interesting if it was all just a ruse and they had enough of the limelight and just went to live somewhere else.
Hey, not to bounce around and go back to food, but I did want to ask you this. I don't know if it was a 70s thing. As a kid growing up, my mom was super guilty of it. And I remember going to friends' houses and seeing their parents somewhat guilty of it. And it was hiding snacks.
For the parents?
Yeah, for the parents.
Damn kids.
My mother always had a stash in the end table next to the couch, and it was potato chips and M&Ms. And that was like her little guilty pleasure, where she'd have potato chips and M&Ms as a combination, which was quite delicious. I love the chocolate and salt combo.
I'm really obtuse in a lot of ways. I don't recall that, but it's probably because I just wasn't paying enough attention.
All right,
Good to
fair
know,
enough. So we talk about my dad a lot and all his requests of me proving my love for him with hard to find delicacies. He's on this kick now where he wants to share this with his brothers. So now he has me ordering this stuff online and shipping it to their houses. So the other day I had to go and I had to go on Amazon and ordered pickled pig's feet and ship that to two of his brothers, one in Connecticut, one in Montana. So now everybody's getting a nice little care package.
So describe, if you can, the interrogation you get at the post office. You know, when they run down, is this flammable, liquid?
Oh, yeah. No, I don't even get involved in the shipping. I go online at Amazon and I put in their address and have it shipped directly to them.
Even better, yeah.
Can you imagine showing up, holding the jar up to the associate at the post office? I'd like to insure this.
You'd end up on a list.
4 squad cars are at the post office immediately. I think about all the things that I enjoy talking about on the show and all the things that I enjoy about the show. We've spoke about this before. The one thing that I always get frustrated over is listening to the show after it's published and thinking about all the funny things that I could have said in response to something that you had just asked or had mentioned. It comes up a lot.
Yeah, and I sent you mine too. When I listened back, just we always do a check to see how it sounds. My brain immediately went to a funnier joke than the one I launched in the podcast. Go back and redo this with funnier bits later.
That would be a good idea, to go back and take some of those clips, extract them, and then record a follow-up and make it obvious, this was not in the show, but here's the follow-up that I would have liked to have put in. Maybe when I have some time editing, I could pull out maybe 10 clips. We could pick 5 each.
Oh, that's a great idea.
That we know that we would have had a great response to, and add our response in. Here's what Rich said. Here's what Rich would have liked to have said.
We'll break it all down. All right, here. This was kind of funny, but this would have killed much harder if I phrased it this way.
Hope you're enjoying 23 minutes of unqualified opinions and mediocre jokes.
How do you feel about reheating coffee in the microwave?
So I don't like to do it, although I will say when Matt was on the show, episode 4, go check it out, about coffee. It was a great episode. He referenced a guy whose name is escaping, James something. And he did recommend, he said, all the different ways you can reheat coffee. He said, turns out microwaving is a perfectly good way to reheat it. It's totally fine. And for simplicity, you kind of can't go wrong. I don't know why, and I don't have a problem microwaving anything, but I don't know why in my head it just doesn't feel right to me.
I don't think it changes the flavor, but I feel like it's different after it's been microwaved.
Is that psychological? I don't know. Is it?
It might be, because I'd prefer to just drink it cooler than go heat it up in the microwave.
It'd be interesting to do an experiment where you're brought 2 cups of coffee, and one was room temperature heated back by a microwave, and the other one was fresh brewed, to see if it was.
Yeah. You'd have to make them like exactly perfectly the same.
Yes.
We talk about LinkedIn from time to time. This one always puzzles me. Why do people put that big banner that says open for opportunities across their name?
Because they're desperate for work.
Because first of all, I'm paranoid. I wouldn't want any employers. I certainly follow other people at work. I just assume that anybody and everybody that's on LinkedIn is just open for new opportunities, right? Otherwise, LinkedIn wouldn't exist. Isn't that the whole idea of it? Networking and opportunities.
Agreed. That is the point. That's kind of, it's the professional sort of social media. But I always wonder, because I don't want to do that either. But if you're out of work, how many weeks out of work before you start saying, no, I'm like really into opportunities?
You're right.
You never really know where people are in life,
And I'm not poking fun at anybody. I just,
agreed.
In my mind, I just think if you're on, it's like if you're on, what's a dating app? If you're on Match.com and you put a banner above your head that says open to dating.
I'm here to meet some women.
It's already been said. It's a given, right? Oh, shoot. He's on. I didn't know. I like looking at the picture.
I've got this old lawnmower I'm trying to get rid of.
For sale, 2018 Jeep Wrangler.
You would look great in it.
I got a funny Mia story. And what's funny about the story is realizing the interaction between her and her sister as the panic came over my younger daughter's face. Last week, they wanted to order some ice cream. They had a DoorDash coupon. And I get mad anytime they talk about DoorDashing or Uber eating food. My older daughter can drive. There's no need to overpay to have somebody drop something off. But she had a couple of gift cards. We're like, all right, go ahead. So she orders up a bunch of ice cream from Friendly's. We're waiting and waiting. And then she started to panic because she had ordered something once in the past. She had to stay late at school and she was really hungry. So she DoorDashed it and had some food delivered to school one night. She looked and realized that she never changed the delivery address. So this was a Sunday night at around 9:00 at night. And the DoorDash driver was delivering 4 ice cream sundaes from Friendly's to the school on a Sunday night. So we called and tried to get it rerouted to the house, and they wouldn't do it. We said we would, pay the difference or give the tip. And the driver said, I have to check with dispatch. And they said, no, you could go to the school and pick them up yourself, but we're not going to deliver to your house. And that was it. We were out of ice cream and out of delivery. So
huge letdown.
My wife had to call. They wound up giving her a credit. Watching my daughter's face start to panic. She was laughing a little bit, but I could see the fear, like, what are we going to do now? How can we fix this? Dad didn't want to do this to begin with, and now all our ice cream is on the back door of the school. It's not going to open until tomorrow morning.
Oh, yeah. You always wonder what happens. Does delivery guy just go? I mean,
of course.
The lights were off. It's there was no possible way there were people there.
The delivery dude came home like a hero. Look, guys, I brought us ice cream.
Exactly.
My wife mouths things to me a lot, and I am so bad at that. When someone can't really say something, so they try to mouth it to you. God forbid I was ever deaf. I would there'd be no way. Someone would have to walk around with a pen and paper and write everything down. My wife does it to me all the time. And I could see her getting frustrated because I'm not getting it. I'm mouthing back to her like, I don't know what you're saying. I can't understand you. And I could see the frustration as she keeps saying it over and over. And then she tells you what it is. And you're like, I'm such an idiot. Why couldn't I figure that out? I never, ever have any idea what anybody's mouthing.
Seems like she should pick up on your inability to do that.
She should know. Now. Shame on her, Rich. She should know better. We've been married for 22 years. I've never, not once, ever been able to decode whatever she's mouthing. Not once.
Well, you could mouth back lyrics to a Metallica song or something and see how she feels.
What did you say? Enter Sandman. Enter Sandman.
Joke's on you. She totally gets it. Don't mess with me, Michael.
What does Metallica have to do with this?
Oh, man.
That happens all the time. Do you play the game when you get gas where you'd like to try to land perfectly on the dollar?
Not every time, but frequently. Yep. Just because.
What I hate is you get to like 92, 93, and then you start clicking slowly, and it takes like 7 clicks to get to the next cent. And then as soon as you get to like 98, you do one of those 1 clicks and it goes to like 4 cents over. And I'm always like, why does it do that?
Yeah, and you've mastered the click. You just did 4 of them in a row. Like you are
timed it perfect. Yeah.
Click to penny, and then it trips into 4. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. I think it's a marketing tactic.
It definitely is.
It's by design.
Yeah, since they went digital, they can mess with you, you know?
I think we spoke about prom dress shopping.
We did. You were giving me some of the adventures, both on the show and off. My favorite was, in a quick summary, Mia was very happy to land, very, very happy to have landed one, only to change her mind a few hours later. What's the latest?
We spent 4 hours at this really cute prom dress and wedding dress boutique after trying on several dresses, in and out, photos. And there's a lot of rules to prom dress shopping, which I'll get into in a moment. After finally narrowing it down, Mia picked her dress, loved it. We're going to call back tomorrow, order it. She's hugging the owner of the shop, thanking her. We leave. What a day. Success. Got the prom dress. Check this major milestone off the list. We can go home. Everybody's going to sleep great tonight knowing that we found the prom dress. Within hours, she's wavering. We could all see it in her face. She's gone from hugging the owner to really not liking the dress at all now. We have to call them back early the next morning, tell her that we're going to hold off on that dress right now. There's so many rules in this prom dress shopping. There's an Instagram page where everybody in the school puts their dress up, almost to ensure that nobody else gets the same dress.
Oh, you're staking your claim. You're planting a flag, aren't you?
You got to go early. You got to nail the dress. You got to post it on the Instagram page so they know.
I guess, I don't know. I don't know. That seems really intense to me, but I know that's a big deal. And if you can avoid it, it's probably...
Me and my buddies drove out to the tux shop. We all picked out whatever $75 tux rental and, grabbed some pizza on the way home. And that was it. We were in and out in a half hour.
Yeah, you stand there. I think you have one requirement. She told me my tie has to match this color. That's like all you had to do.
Yeah, that's it. And if she didn't know, you just went with the black. That was it. I got a black tie.
I'm happy not to be in high school anymore.
It's unbelievably different. It's changed so much.
Yeah.
What is it about Subarus being covered with stickers?
Yeah, I think they're in cahoots with Big Sticker.
I think you're right. My wife likes to watch old movies sometimes, and they're the ones from, I don't know when they're from, but from the 50s maybe, the old movies that are all black and white.
Oh, classic stuff. Okay.
I made an observation. Maybe you have too. It always seemed that the big move in those movies were people were always getting slapped in the face. Did you ever notice that in all those old movies?
That was the go-to, yeah.
There was always a scene where people getting slapped in the face.
Well, it was the line in the sand, right? You stepped over, you're getting slapped.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It was a simpler time.
I'm not a huge Pink Floyd fan. When I do listen to them and I think about the efforts that they went through to record some of those songs, and a lot of other huge artists, the efforts that they go through to record them, and they sound so sonically great. And then you think of us listening to them on a junky pair of earbuds. I don't know
upset Roger Waters would be with us.
Yeah, and I know some people are like super huge audiophiles, and they'll have super high-end pair of headphones or listen to it on some outrageously priced sound system.
And right to your point, I'm in the same boat with the Pink Floyd. I've listened to a ton of Pink Floyd in my life. They are unbelievably creative, from just the writing to the performance to the production, like you just said. Even creating that movie, The Wall, was a masterpiece. At this point in life, I've probably heard enough Pink Floyd. I don't need to do too much more of that. I will say, however, Monday Night Jam has two new participants.
Let me slip a commercial into a bit.
Well, no, I'm going somewhere with this. So, Chris on drums, Mike on bass. I was covering all the guitar. I am amazingly mediocre guitar player. It's a tall order for one guitar player to do the lead, the rhythm, or be good enough to handle all that stuff. So I was very, very happy to have their friend Mark and their friend Tim. Mark plays guitar. Tim comes in and does some singing. They all went to high school. They're all 10 years younger than me. They all went to high school, so they got this whole buddy thing going. But Mark is an amazing guitar player. Recently bought a new Strat and came in, and we played Comfortably Numb. That guy slayed both of the solos. It was unbelievable how it takes you right back to how great Pink Floyd was. The way he pulled it off was spectacular. So tip of the hat to the new guys in the Monday Night Jam, and just reminding me how great Pink Floyd really is.
Nice.
You ever drive a plow?
Have I ever driven a plow? I've done a lot of things. I've driven an excavator. I've never driven a plow. No.
This morning it's super snowy here, and it's like shoveling wet concrete. But I recall back years and years ago, lived in New Hampshire, had a house on a private road. There's only 4 of us down there. And since it was a private road, the town didn't come and do it. The guy across the street had this old pickup truck. This thing was definitely not safe for driving on the street, but he slapped a plow on the front, and we took turns plowing our driveway and the private road. That was a blast. You don't know fun in a vehicle until you hit stuff with a plow. It's a ton of fun.
I've driven my truck into huge snow drifts. It's similar to plowing.
It's a similar experience.
All right, Rich.
All right. Another good one.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. I'll talk to you later today.
Sounds good.
All right, take care.